Star Trek The Voyage Home is about all of our humanity. It's about how we live on this planet with those creatures that live with us and how we communicate with them. We are not an island, and we need to live symbiotically with those other creatures in order to have a future. Greenpeace's mission statement is to take action through peaceful, direct confrontation to make change for a sustainable and peaceful planet.
Well, the history of whaling is one long history of repeated tragedy, where the first time it happened, it might have been because people didn't know what they were doing, but it kept being repeated over and over again.
Governments didn't want to do anything about it because basically for them it was a source of revenue, it kept people employed, and there was no public outcry about it. The issue of commercial whaling only became mainstream in the 1970s and 80s when Greenpeace went out to the high seas and started to get between the harpooners and the whales and started to bring back the pictures to folks in their living rooms of what was really going on out there. Until then, unless you were on a whaling ship, you didn't know. And when Greenpeace brought those images home, people began to recognize how brutal the slaughter was and the absolute necessity of doing something about it. The movie Star Trek The Voyage Home had a huge impact on the way people think, on the way they see environmental issues. It was one of the first environmental films of the time.
Some populations of whales are recovering quite well. For example, some of the humpbacks, the very ones depicted in the movie, are recovering well. But other populations of humpbacks from nearby oceans are still static. They're showing no signs of recovery.
Virtually gone is the blue whale, the largest creature ever to inhabit the earth.
Unfortunately, the filmmakers did get their fact right when they stated that blue whales were virtually gone. Less than 1% of blue whales remain across the oceans in both the southern and the northern hemisphere.
Whales are not like fish. Fish can repopulate quickly by releasing hundreds of thousands of eggs into the water and creating a new year class of fish. Whales can't do that. Their biology simply doesn't allow it, so they don't recover quickly from overexploitation.
The situation today is that whales face more threats than ever in the past, even though there is less industrial whaling. We as humans are doing more damage to our planet now than we were in the 1980s. And climate change is possibly the biggest threat to whales across the oceans today, as the ice melts at the poles and their food sources become more scarce.
If you want to save the whales, you need to be part of the efforts to save the oceans. Vast amounts of marine life are killed by plastic waste. Pick up beach litter, take it home. Even something dropped into a river 100 miles inland will make its way into the ocean eventually, and it will wind up interacting with marine life. The oceans belong to all of us, as much to somebody in Switzerland as to somebody in Hawaii. And we all need to be active in taking care of them. And of course, you can join an organization like Greenpeace that works to protect the oceans.
Both Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner have long been members of Greenpeace and supporters of the issue of defending the whales. In fact, if you join Greenpeace today, you will get a call from William Shatner saying thanks for joining Greenpeace, and we appreciate all his support for the work that we do, not only in defending the whales, but in also bringing attention to the issue of climate change, the issue of deforestation and toxic pollution across our planet. The movie Star Trek The Voyage Home clearly raised public awareness in a way that environmentalists could never have hoped for. And that this popular movement made it into one of the biggest movies of the time showed that it wasn't a French issue, that it was a key issue that everybody needed to think about. We would say, from the Greenpeace perspective, that any one of our ship's captains would have loved to be the captain on board the ship that pierced the rope that connected the harpoon. And that is exactly what Greenpeace does. We get out there and we defend the whales because we have to recognize, and we hope that people recognize with us, we have to stand up for some of the better parts of humanity and what we believe in. We really need to do all we can to make sure that that great creature survives into the 23rd century.
There'll be whales here!